Hey guys, so it's Sam from Sauce Line. Today I thought I'd show you how to use a knife. Seems like a really simple thing. There's just a few tricks to stop yourself cutting yourself every time you cook, or most times when you cook, and staying safe with the knife. So we've just got ourselves a standard knife here. Spend the best money you can that you can afford on the best knife possible. They will last. A good knife will last an absolute lifetime if it's looked after. So this is a knife that hasn't been sharpened. Suggest you sharpen your knife every time you cook if you can, or at least once a week. It's going to preserve this edge here, and it's also going to mean you're not going to have this edge recut, and that's where it costs money to have your edge recut, and your life will last longer. So we'll show you the difference. Here is a tomato. As you can see, when we have an unsharp knife like so, the weight of the knife won't actually cut through. So we can run our knife like this, and you can see we are barely cutting through it. You've just broken the surface. So what we'll do, it's a global knife, so quite easily with this sharpener, you can use any sharpener that's in the shops. There'll be a knife sharpener to go with your knife. We'll go back and forth just a handful of times, about 7 or 8 times, and then this one. And this is all you'll need to do each time you cook. So again, this takes less than 30 seconds. We'll just clean our knife, keep it there, Pruny. Okay, now let's see the difference. Same tomato. We won't do where the cut is because that's cheating, and we'll just use the weight of our knife. So you see how now the weight of our knife, I'm not putting any weight on that, has cut through it. That's the difference between a sharp and a blunt knife, and it's effortless. The key is the weight of your knife does all the work. When we start pushing down on our knife, that's when our knife starts moving side to side, and that's when we can start cutting our fingers. Another little trick to keeping your fingers out the way, and this is the first thing you teach your kids when they're cutting a knife. Apart from holding their hands away from the blade, when you hold something as small as this, if we were to put our fingers like that and knife, we're likely to cut our fingers. So we want to tuck our fingers slightly back. We want our knuckles to come forward, and what's going to happen is we're going to use our knuckles as a guide. See how big our knife is. Now we come down here, there's nothing that can get in the way of the knife. Our fingers are nice and out the way. Our knuckles are keeping the knife where it should be, and we're not going to cut ourselves. So that way we come down on our knife, and all we need to do then is just move our fingers backwards. And that way we're not going to cut our finger. So you see how there's no way I can cut my finger because we're using our knuckles here. Let's try again. So again, fingers, get your fingers straight, and then we're just going to lean them forward so our knuckles are in the way, and then we're just going to slice. You see, with no effort at all, I can just let the blade do the job, and it slices really nicely. Now what if we sliced a tomato in half like so, and we want much smaller? Well, in this case here, we can just use one finger. Again, our knuckle is what's going to stop us. We can run up and down here, and we're not going to cut our finger. Now if we run up here, we like to cut it, so never go past your knuckle with the blade. And this way we can just slice as fine as we want with our knife. We can get really fine slices. So that's just a really small trick to using a knife. Always make sure it's cut. Another little trick, if you've got stuff on the board, is to use the back of your knife just to wipe it off. One thing you should never do is use the front of your knife to scrape across, or you will blunt it, even on a wood chopping board. So guys, I hope that helps. Have a go, have a practice, and we'll catch up with you soon.